Hello and welcome to this video. This is a new 25-10 game here on the ICC. Yes, I'm still doing them. Only been quite a while. It's still tricky to get opponents. It's not a very popular pool, it seems. Okay, we got a C3 Sicilian. I went to D5 and Queen D5 mostly, but I didn't fare so well in those games, in Blitz games that is. And now I'm trying something else, even though I have to admit that I'm not a huge expert here. Bishop c4, yeah, I guess d6 is a good move pretty much regardless what white is doing here, d4 or bishop c4. I have to attack the pawn there. d4 looks very normal now. Yeah, sometimes you also have weird things happening here in this pool. I had a game earlier today where after 9 minutes of playing, the guy suddenly disconnected. Yeah, this is great. You have a 9-minute video kind of in the middle of a game and then they disconnect, which is pretty much useless to upload. But still you've wasted like 9 minutes and feel rather stupid because you have to do it all over again with a new game. Okay, Mr. TikTok. What is he going to do? d4 looks very normal there. I mean, okay, he can take on d6 as well. That probably also should be quite okay. An interesting question is if bishop takes d5 is worth considering. But the bishop is probably a bit too strong a piece to give up that early against the knight. Okay, yeah, that's an interesting question. If I want to take on e5 or not. Or just knight c6. I think knight c6 I want to develop quickly here. Knight takes, bishop d6 is an interesting idea. Trying to attack the knight there quickly. But, well, this way I think he will very likely capture on d6. Okay, he can still go d4, of course. Yeah, maybe also rook e1. Okay, he gives me the bishops. If you know me, you know that I'm happy about that. But this is pretty normal thing that stronger players do prefer bishops. In most cases they are the better piece. Okay, what about this? Bishop d6, rook e1, bishop e6. Yeah, I guess I have to take here anyway, so sorry about that. And now he goes d4. So he first gives me the bishop pair and then opens the position. Well, okay, d4 is kind of... I thought rook e1 at least to irritate me a bit, but okay. Going to castle here. Yeah, that's an interesting moment. I can take on d4 or I can play c4. Both moves make quite some sense. C takes d4 because it opens up the position and probably will get him to move the knight. Something like cd4, knight d4, queen h4, for example, is a rather interesting idea. Trying to provoke g3, queen h3, intending bishop h3. He doesn't have a light squared bishop, so... However, if I take and he takes with the pawn, well, it's very solid, of course, for him. I think I'm going to play c4. I'm really not sure about it, but I think it probably keeps a little bit more tension in the position. Taking, c takes, and then knight c3. Yeah, that was actually a somewhat interesting moment, because at this moment he had b3, where I would have been basically forced to capture. And now I can play b3, b5 if I like. Okay, I'm going to enter here. Bishop does look quite nice there on the light squares, even though it doesn't attack anything, so it's not necessarily that brilliant a piece. Yeah, I think b3 looks very normal, let's say, very standard, but there are some ideas. Even bishop a3 is not entirely stupid. At least it seems like that at first glance. And the idea is bishop b2, trapping the rook. bc4, bishop b2, cd5. Yeah, it wins the exchange, this whole procedure. It's rather interesting. Bishop a3. In some cases it's also very helpful that the a pawn is blocked. So b3, maybe I really do bishop a3. Don't see why not. Anyway, okay, what is he supposed to do besides b3? I mean, he can play like rook e1, something non-committal. I have a couple of easy moves that I can play here, like b5, a5, f6. Moves that improve my position a little bit, taking some squares, expanding. It's not so easy for white because his lack of space. This is why b3 is such a standard procedure to get some space. Even though, yeah, bishop a3, as I said, is kind of annoying, I think. I wonder, I can actually flick in bishop d3 here, right? Yeah, this is not a bad idea. Let's do this. I'm covering this. I wanted to. Okay, so he actually would be willing to sacrifice an exchange here. Yeah, but I don't have to take it, huh? I can take with the pawn here simply and keep my advantages. Bishop f1. I didn't like that much, giving him the 2 pawns there. This just keeps very good control, and if he goes rook e1, bishop a3 is a very awkward move to face. I really don't see a good reply against that, to be honest. I don't see it. Pieces are quite badly coordinated. Another purely strategic idea would be knight e7 to d5. Or, in case of rook e1, which seems very likely to happen, no, he's not doing that. It seems he wants to sacrifice the exchange, really. But I can go a6 here and go b5 to win a piece if he takes c4. This is actually pretty strong, I believe. Kicks the queen away. And I still have, let's say he goes, I go a6, he plays rook e1 or something, I play b5, queen has to go all the way back, and then queen a5 is very awkward, c3 is hanging and hard to defend, and still bishop a3 is there. Yeah, so a6 is good. Yeah, covers against knight c4 due to the b5 fork. He's playing this interestingly, like in giving away the exchange here. It's a good fight. But I think not taking and just going for this here is stronger, that grabbing material. This is funny, yeah? What about the queen? TikTok, your queen. Help.
White resigns.
Yeah, he made a played for a self-trap here of the queen. Yeah, rather short game, but it had some good interesting moments. Let's go back. Yeah, so this is certainly a normal position. And here g4 is very likely to lead to some main line. This, for example, is a main line that I know that it is a main line, but I don't really know how it is continued from here. Pretty normal stuff. But he captured, and I really don't like it. This is giving away the bishop pair very early on, and it's really not a clear compensation for him. He's not better developed, or I don't have weaknesses or whatever. And if nothing special is happening, then the bishop pair constitutes a pretty serious thing. I thought he should go rook e1 here to at least try to pin me here, so that's after d4 I might have to worry about this move, for example. No, I feel okay here. I mean, for example, I can take, and even castle here. Yeah, because, well, he cannot grab here. This is a... Can I not take on h2 here? Let's check. Maybe this is just a draw. Check. I don't get the king in, huh? Yeah, it's a draw. And if I go queen h4 immediately, then g3, and tons of stuff is hanging. So that's not working. The engine wants to do this, trapping the rook. Yeah, really traps the rook. Funny. Yeah, okay, he went d4, and I just was happy to castle quickly, so I don't need to play bishop e6. He went here. Yeah, and now this is the choice. I could also have taken here, but I didn't like that so much. Knight takes queen h4 looks pretty attractive. Something like this, for example. Intending bishop g4. That looks really good. But I felt he could take maybe with the pawn and then play knight c3. Which is, of course, okay for black. But I wasn't quite sure if this is better or the advance. I'd like to keep more things on the board. So this, and he went knight d2. Yeah, he could have played b3 here, because now b5, a4, I don't have a6. The engine actually points out that b4 is a playable move. I have to agree, yeah, that's probably right. I didn't think about that. Yeah, and now he played b3, and really, I don't really like that. Went here, and he now tried to sack the exchange. Yeah, if he goes rook e1, I have this nice choice between bishop a3 and queen a5. I thought this is good. Interesting, very interesting. Well, the engine wants to go rook b1 here, and actually claims that this is kind of playable. Okay, now it adjusts the assessment and gives black an advantage. Yeah, it looks awkward, really, bishop a3, but I also felt queen a5 should be pretty okay. If he takes now, again, this is really awkward, and he cannot play queen a4, I'm covering that. Okay, you tried this. If I now take here, queen f1, and let's say takes, I material up, but I think those two pawns at least provide some central control, and I wanted to keep everything in hand. He tried this move. Yeah, I think if he goes rook e1 again, I have queen a5, and I don't see how he covers that. Note that this is really awkward. So he went here, and after this, after a6, I'm just clearly better already. Rook d1 was a funny self-trap, but if he does this, for example, I'm going here, back, and he just has lost time giving me those moves. And now bishop a3, and he's probably not able to prevent bishop b2 winning the exchange there. Okay, well, thanks for watching.